You're on the Bible Forum. We're here every night, every Sunday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Love for you to join us live. Jump into the chat room. Did you know educational freedom was on the November ballot? Well, it is, according to the Washington Post and several other outlets. It lost. Biden has promised that national teachers' unions will now be firmly in control of public education. And the damage doesn't stop there. Wholesale forgiveness of student debt is now on the agenda, as is a wholesale revisionism from K through 12 in terms of curricula. The losers, the poor, mostly minority kids and successful charter schools. Hardworking students who scrape and claw their way to paying off their school debt. Talking about college. Also at risk is the truth, specifically in American history. You can forget about the 1776 project, replacing the 1619 project. You don't know anything about these things? The 1619 project is an ongoing project developed by the New York Times Magazine in 2019 that, quote, aims to reframe the country's history by placing the consequences of slavery and the contributions of Black Americans at the very center of the U.S. national narrative, end of quote. The project was timed for the 40th anniversary of the arrival of the first enslaved Africans in the Virginia colony. One of the claims is that the War of Independence from Great Britain was fought in order to protect slavery in the colonies. Andrew Sullivan, writing for The Week, wrote that the 1619 project, quote, went wrong trying to connect everything with slavery, end of quote. However, the project's creator, Nicole Hannah-Jones, was awarded a 2020 Pulitzer Prize for her commentary regarding the introductory essay to the project. The 1776 Unites Project, also written by people of color, quote, is a project led by African American historians, academics, and advocates to promote founding American values like entrepreneurship, self-determination, and mutual social support. Wikipedia says, quote, 1776 Unites promotes current and historical examples of prosperous Black communities as, quote, a powerful refutation of the claim that the destiny of Black Americans is determined by what whites do or what they have done in the past, end of quote. The 1776 Unites also promotes the work and thought of entrepreneurs, philanthropists, business and community leaders, and others it considers achievers in order to illustrate the opportunities for success that are open to African Americans today. Their contributions to national economic and cultural life, and their stake in the U.S. life and history. Here's a document that exalts the Black community, as opposed to one that continues to wallow in self-pity and institutional reproach. One lifts people up, the other simply allows them to continue to wallow in their own pity. Which do you think gives people hope? Which would you imagine would challenge people upward? Sullivan goes on to write, I have long envisioned parental choice as the logical next chapter in the civil rights movement. After all, African American women started the charter school experiment in Wisconsin in the 1980s. But I now have my doubts. School choice might poll well in minority communities, but relatively few minority legislators are willing to adopt the cause. Too much political payback involved, probably. Things just don't change much for kids stuck in poor performing schools. The bottom line, structural dysfunction is a multi-generational fact of life for far too many disadvantaged kids. Shame is the shiny new word on the left, and it has 73 million targets. You know the surrounding buzz phrases? He's not us, talking about President Trump. We can do much better. And of course, shame on you for supporting Trump. As a matter of rhetoric, it's effective. The target is placed on defensive right away. The old rule and truism, when you're explaining, you're losing. The downside is its one-sidedness. The shamed Trump supporter is somehow not supposed to examine the alternative. Equally relevant are the tangible policy successes of the Trump administration, from Middle East peace to border security to a warp speed produced COVID vaccine. But even major policy breakthroughs don't count when shaming is on the agenda. Not to mention